Hey guys, so it's been a while since I made a video. So I basically have really had the duality of things happen to me because I've just been on an amazing five-star luxury holiday that, came to me. I didn't have to pay for it in the Maldives, and I was all set to make a video on how I manifested that and how I created it. And you'll see on my travel channel some short videos. I haven't made any long videos yet because then on the flight back, I felt really, really, really poorly. I think it was a lack of sleep because it was just the most horrendous flight, because it was 3 different flights, because you get water planes in the Maldives, and there was 5-hour waits between all the transport, and just no sleep in that time. So it was kind of being awake for about 20 hours or more. And I won't bore you with the details of that, but I must have obviously been susceptible at that point to pick something up. And when I got home, I wasn't sure to begin with, because obviously I thought it could be jet lag. And then it became very apparent to me that I was very, very poorly, very, very quickly. And it was an illness that I hadn't really had before. And this was very apparent from the beginning. So I thought it's probably flu, because I've never had flu before. I know a lot of people throw the word flu around a lot, but it's really, quite severe and very specific symptoms. And I personally don't think I've ever had the flu before. I think I've just had bad colds. And it felt like flu because I was incredibly weak and tired. I just really couldn't get out of bed much more than just to kind of go to the toilet or get some water or something like that. And I don't think I've ever really been like that. And I had this headache and my body was weak and I was so achy. And I could barely move, and I was getting all these phantom pains in my bodies, but I didn't have a temperature. And, I thought, okay, I'll just lie in bed, I'll just recover. But over the course of this illness, a lot of things happened that made me realise that it definitely wasn't anything I've ever experienced before. I don't think it was flu. There's a high potentiality it was COVID, to be fair, which I never ever got first time around or second time around or 100th time around or whatever. But I guess maybe this was my time, or maybe it's a different thing. But all I can say is that it was such a spiritual illness. And I know all illnesses are spiritual in nature. I've still got quite a bad cough every now and again, but I'm like almost 100% better. So I wanted to jump on and make this video before I go way too long without making any. And I can't believe the profound spiritual change that came with this. And I'm just sharing my experience. I'm wondering if anybody else had similar, if they experienced this when maybe they did get COVID. I don't know whether it was COVID. I'm just saying that it might have been. And it was very positive for me, really, ultimately. I mean, it was a little bit scary at times because I suppose with an illness, you kind of know what you're getting normally. You know with the cold roughly what your successions of symptoms are going to be and when the turning point is, when you're starting to get better. Whereas I felt with this, so many things were things I'd never experienced before that it was really difficult to know, oh God, is this all, am I still getting worse? And I felt like you could feel one way one day and then suddenly you'd feel a totally different way. And some of the things that were very different for me were just the types of pains. So I would get different pains in my body, and I was getting pains in my head that almost felt like a beam was just bursting into my head. And just really unusual body pains. And then it culminated in one evening where I felt my throat really close up. And every time I closed my eyes, I got visions and hallucinogenic type visions. And it was very much like mushrooms. Like every time I've had mushrooms, which is only a few times, it was exactly the same. I closed my eyes and I had exactly the same experience I would have if I took mushrooms. But I had definitely not taken anything whatsoever. I didn't even have a temperature because that was actually, it was every time I closed my eyes and then I opened them and it'd be all right, but I'd feel incredible nausea and incredible tiredness to where I just really needed to close my eyes again. But I did run and get a thermometer because I did want to check. So I thought, oh my gosh, am I running a really high temperature to the point where I'm hallucinating here? But I wasn't. Temperature came out at 32. So I thought, wow, okay. And this was how the illness really was for me. A lot of things like that, which are very, very, I didn't know that you could really even have these things with illnesses, where you would just have hallucinogenic trips. So anyway, the reason that I know it was so profound is because then things started to change as I got better. And I started to realize that it was really making me purge and clear everything that was not in my highest good, on my highest timeline. Things just dropped off like this. So I don't know, and for those of you that know me, I've wanted to give up coffee for like forever, but I just love it. I love coffee. I couldn't give it up. I loved everything about it. I loved the taste. I loved the ritual of making it. I just loved it. I could not start a day with I just couldn't have a day without starting it with coffee. I didn't enjoy it. I couldn't get going. It was like something was missing so inherently that I just couldn't get going. And it was weird because as soon as I started to come around and feel better to where I could go to a cafe, I just didn't want coffee. My desire for coffee just went from here to here, and I didn't have to try. I didn't have to not drink it. I just didn't want it. Like something in me just didn't want it. I did go and have one anyway because I thought I want to get out of the house. I want to go to a cafe and sit down for a bit. And I just didn't enjoy it. And then I did go again 2 days later, and I felt like I'm at my exact level of where I wanted to be with coffee, where if I go to a coffee shop, a couple of times a week, I can enjoy one, but I do not want it in the home. I do not need it in the home, etc. I really wanted to get to that point. And it's like overnight, I was at that point. And I didn't lose my taste. My taste buds became super, 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 super heightened to where I bought one little packaged soup, and it was so salty to me that I felt like I'd emptied a canister of salt into my mouth. That's how it felt. And I had Vita cacao water, and it has like 0.01% fructose in it or something. And normally I don't think it's that sweet, but it was so sweet I couldn't drink. It was just so sweet, it made me feel sick. And it was like any food that wasn't raw vegan or wasn't really in alignment, with something that I eat, I just felt terrible, like nausea from having it. And that's still there now, that if there's anything, even just lightly cooked food, vegetables, I just felt awful, like heavy, immediately tired, nauseous. And then just other things on my path and just where I live, like I've wanted to move for a while, but it's not really been clear, like the path hasn't opened up, and I just feel, oh my God, I can't stay here a day longer. I just feel so disconnected. I just feel like I can't do things that are not in my like highest soul's good anymore. It's like I just can't do them. They make me feel ill, or they make me feel super tired. Like I just literally can't do them, or they drop off my path. And this is just it's only been a few days. Obviously I don't know how I'm going to feel in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I feel like I'm in a completely different timeline. I just feel like I shifted, and I just have never felt such a sort of overnight shift as to where all the sort of rubbish that I've like picked up over my life, or more recently that I've gone back to, things like diet. I was so strict on at one point, and then bit by bit I feel like I've just added more cooked things in, or the odd little processed thing, and you don't notice, and now it's like I just can't have it. And the coffee thing to me was mind-blowing, because I've been trying for years and unsuccessfully, and now it's just so easy. It's just so easy not to have it. Don't want it. And it's been the most bizarre experience, and just my attitude on things has profoundly changed. And I also had like a really strong life review. I've had a few of these in my life where I'm flashed a lot of images from my childhood. And this happened to me really strongly this past life review. I just was flashed so many images and felt them as if they were happening now. It was very emotional for me. I've cried today and really tuned into that and felt, you know, this really deep bond with my family as well, like deeper than I have before. And I've become incredibly sensitive. I feel like a lot of things now making me cry, and yeah, I just feel you know, like I don't want to waste my time. I don't even want to go on social media anymore. I feel very off social media. I definitely got drawn into that quite a lot since the whole COVID thing, and it's just been off. I'm just not interested in it anymore. And it's crazy how these things can happen, where it can happen that quickly, just bam, not interested in it anymore. But I don't know where I'm going to go from this, or what's going to happen, or whether some of the old habits will return back. I don't know. But I'm going to try and keep them. I'm going to try and sort of ride this energy out and see what new place it's taking me, because it feels like completely unknown, uncharted energy. But I wanted to put that out there. I don't know if other people have had similar experiences, if this is COVID, if any of you got it and you had this experience, in which case I think it was fantastic. You know, I think it was absolutely for my highest good, and I don't pick any bad up in which case, and maybe it's not such a bad thing to experience as long as we make it out okay. Or maybe it was something else entirely. Has anyone else, you know, had this recently, gone through this? Did you go through this recently? Really intrigued to hear your experiences, and yeah, what the hell is going on. I don't really feel like I have an answer for that. I just feel very clearly what it was doing to me at all times, and yeah, that's kind of been my experience over the last 2 weeks and where I've been. I hope that I can get back to getting some more videos out there and getting on with editing. I don't really know. I feel like very void at the moment, very like a boat floating with no orientation. So I'm gonna see like how things sit with me over the next few days. But yeah, hope everyone is good. Wanted to check in, and I've got a couple more videos that I'd already kind of lined up and wrote down that I wanted to do before I got ill. So I'll try and make those as well. And yeah, hope everyone is good, and I'll speak soon. Bye bye.